Welcome to yet another episode of Ask Dr. Bitcoin. I'm your host, Mark Risen Hopkins, aka Dr. Bitcoin. Today is going to be a crypto masterclass, but if you only got 30 seconds to learn, Mark Schutt's got you covered with Web3 Ready. You can check that out here on the Merge. Today we're going to talk about blockchain. What is it? Yeah, we've covered this before on the show, but it's always nice to level set and get ready for a new season of new information. So stick with me, stay tuned. So as I have talked about before on this show, I like to encapsulate Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and blockchain, all those concepts into one very dense academic sentence. We start from there and then we try to uncompact. Now, this is something I've done at universities with like at UTD and at SMU and other places, and even taught at BOP approved courses down in Beaumont. But hey, let's start with what is Bitcoin. And then we'll try to delve into some of these concepts over the rest of the season that we explore here in this first episode. Bitcoin is the reference protocol for blockchain, which is a decentralized internet protocol for the elimination or the mitigation of trust between counterparties. That's a bunch of $10 words, but we're going to uncompact those one at a time. So Bitcoin being a reference protocol, what that simply means, that's kind of developer speak, which means that it's the model protocol. It is the model reference architecture for a thing that exists so that anything that tries to accomplish something similar to what it is will use that as the reference moving forward. So anything that you ever hear about being termed as blockchain or cryptocurrency or anything in that realm of technologies, that means they're trying to pattern after the best effects, the best accomplishments of Bitcoin. What Bitcoin does and what blockchain aims to do, what other blockchain technologies aim to do, is allow people to interact trustlessly. Trustless, that doesn't sound like it's a positive thing. Well, what that means, interacting trustlessly, is interacting without the need for an intermediary party. That actually does sound good, because what do intermediary parties tend to do? Well, think about in the context of a bank, or think about that in the context of money remittance like Western Union or PayPal or Venmo. All these services that I'm talking about, they take a fee, right? So if you're able to interact trustlessly via a decentralized internet protocol, that means you have the ability to interact with anybody in the world without losing any type percentage to a middleman or a middle party, or having to worry about that middleman or intermediary party steal from either one of you. Now, this other part that we kind of skipped over, decentralized internet protocol, what does all that mean? This is the crux of what blockchain is all about. Internet protocol, that's simply a very fancy word for a piece of software. A piece of software that is of a very specific utility, meaning it is a way in which we have established to communicate between two entities on the internet. An example of that in plain English would be something like email or something like the web. Whenever you go and pull a web page, you are using a protocol that different pieces of software have already agreed upon. This is how we're going to communicate HTML and graphics and put it together into a document that a person can look at. So the protocol is the transport layer between your web browser and a web server somewhere on the internet. Similarly, email, another internet protocol. That is, you have an email client that may be Gmail. It may be a piece of software like Outlook that sits on your desktop. It might be a Gmail app or another kind of mail app that sits on your mobile device. That isn't just talking to a universal email server somewhere on the internet. That is using a set of protocols that talks to a server that you have your account on, and then that server is using email protocol to talk to all the other servers using the addressing scheme, blank@blank.com or blank.edu or whatever it is, right? So these are all examples of protocols. Think of protocols like languages. These are languages for computers to use between each other. That is distinct from something like a platform, right? So if you think about the email example once again, right, that's a decentralized internet protocol. But we also use other things to communicate with one another. We use things that are platforms like Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp or Telegram, right? And in these instances, we are logging into a singular server somewhere that is owned by a singular company, and we are communicating within the confines of that server ecosystem. That is the difference between a decentralized internet protocol like email and a centralized internet communications platform or centralized internet platform. So think about email is to Facebook Messenger as Bitcoin is to PayPal, right? PayPal is the equivalent to a centralized value transfer platform. It's not a protocol, because I can't be on Cash App and you can be on PayPal and we communicate with one another. No, we both have to be on PayPal or we both have to be on Cash App. But with Bitcoin and other types of blockchain protocols that are designed after Bitcoin, you can be using Coinbase and I can be using Cash App, and a third person can be using a independent Bitcoin wallet on their phone, and we can all send value to one another using the Bitcoin blockchain protocol. I hope this clears things up for you. We're going to be building on this knowledge because everything that we're going to talk about this season is going to build on two concepts that we explored here. Decentralization, which is built off of cryptocurrency and cryptography, and blockchains, which is going to include concepts like DAOs and DeFis and NFT and all kinds of different topics that you hear bandied about in crypto news and technology news and probably even on the TV once in a while. We're going to get into all these different topics, and it's all going to tie back into what we discussed today. So if you like what you heard, stick with us for the rest of the season. We're going to talk about a lot of deeper concepts like DAOs, NFTs, and DeFi. And it's all going to build on the knowledge we started with here today. And if you want a more introductory look at things, check out Mark Shutt's series Web3 Ready here on The Merge. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Hey, thanks for watching The Merge. We've got a ton more stuff for you to watch on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere. Check us out.